Sam, it's recognised in the industry that between 5 or 6 out of 10 houses sell with the second estate agent. This was obviously prior to the COVID unique market. Why are estate agents so rubbish at selling houses when the second agent has to sell it? Talk to me.
I'm glad you made that point about the market that we're in now, or that we've seen for the past.
Okay, so
7
we're
or 8
filming
months.
this now in March 2021. So we've had a good 9 months of unusual market.
Racy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, this is not going to last forever. And if you go back, I think Spectre said 1 in 5. 5 in 10. Rightmove said 6 in 10. You know, fundamentally, it will go back to a more normal market when listings is everything. But we earn our money on the sale. Let's come back to the original question: why are estate agents so bad at selling houses?
Right. For an industry that says it's all about communication, it's all about people, I think before the listing is won, and then once it's won, I think communication levels suffer. So when I first got here, 2015, I walked into the company that I worked for and I sat down and I started work on a Wednesday. Wednesday was vendor contact day. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, well, this is the day where we call our vendors up and we say, probably need a price reduction. And I was like, what do you do on all the other days? And they were like, well, we do call out, or I might go on evaluation and stuff like that. And so the really simple answer to your question of why people switch agents is when things are going badly, and things haven't gone that badly for the last 7 or 8 months, but I agree with you, things will get tougher, and things had been tough for the years before that, which is why I think those statistics were the reality. Once a week contact doesn't cut it. There's no price feedback, honest price feedback, until you ask for a price reduction.
If most vendors got once a week vendor contact, they'll be chuffed as hell in the UK.
I think that's just probably because that's what agents set them up to expect.
No, they don't even get once a week.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, you're once a month if you're lucky. We're not talking about viewing
There's
feedback
the answer
here.
to your question.
We're not talking about viewing feedback because that's Mrs. Miggins thought it was lovely. I'm actually I mean, and isn't it interesting that it's always the negotiator that does the vendor contact, not the valuer who puts the property on the market?
So that 2 reasons why I think so many properties end up getting a result with the second agent in. One, that first agent is too scared to lose the listing, so they do 2 things. They overprice it at the start, and then they don't tell them they've overpriced it at all until it gets to a point where the vendor invariably, and I'm generalizing here, so if anyone's listening to this and getting annoyed, sorry, but the vendor will call them up and they'll be like, Chris, why hasn't our house sold? I spoke to a friend of mine who is selling their flat in Wimbledon. They've been on the market for 5 months, they've had 1 viewing. And I said, how come you haven't called me before? What's your agent saying? And they said, oh, it's just typical of our flat. And I was like, no, I don't believe that it is. They live next to the tennis courts. There is an agent there that has told them what they needed to hear, given them the fee they wanted to have, and priced it at the price they wanted, which does nothing for anybody. They're sitting on top of the market, they're on the market. So that's the first reason why I think so many people go to a second agent, because they're actually willing not even to tell them the truth. They'll just talk them through the poor experience they've had. And then the other reason is there's very little service along the way. So again, I come from a school of you talk to your sellers every day. That's unheard of here. I come from
This is in Australia.
This is in Australia, and I used to do it here as well. And the best thing that you can do to make sure that, 1, you don't lose the listing, and 2, you sell it, is when nothing happens in a day. You don't get a Rightmove inquiry, no one from your database calls you back, nothing. You call your vendor the next day and you say, just wanted to call you and say, nothing happened yesterday. And I say, why do you reckon that is? And they're like, well, I really need to talk to you about it. So can I come and see you? And then you go and see them, you have a conversation about marketing, about
Is that
price.
you as the neg or you as the valuer?
That's whoever is responsible for that instruction. So here's the third reason: who is responsible? That's probably the more important.
Because what happens is most valuers were negs, and I can remember when I was a valuer, and I thought to myself, well, I'm not. I've kind of moved up on the ladder. I'll let the negs do the crap part of the job, which is, let's be honest,
that's the best part of the job, because
but
if
no
you
one
don't do
likes
that, you don't get paid.
Yes, but again, if you the type of personality who is attracted to estate agency valuers, they're not
They wanna be
are
loved.
they're more concerned about the popularity of winning the listing and getting one over the competitor than they are of actually getting paid than the result.
Yeah, I know which one I would prefer, I think, you know.
Do you think that's because the wrong type of people are attracted to estate agency?
I think
That's not a criticism, by the way.
no, I don't think it is. I think that unfortunately, you only see what you want to see before you get into anything, you know. People who want to become astronauts see astronauts splashing down and coming out and waving, or they see them floating around the air. They don't see years of toil or being a test pilot or not drinking in high school or college because they wanted to make sure they do everything. People who want to be estate agents see nice BMWs and flashy suits and what they believe to be a simple job. Now, I think it can be a simple job if you follow the process of, you know, being honest with people.
Not easy, but it's simple.
Yeah, I think so, 100%. It's a process. Look, most of life is
but most
process.
most valuers, they're on the disc profiling, they're more people, not process driven.
This comes back to an earlier point that we were talking about before, about you've got to then have technology to couple with that. So you need the people to go in there, and I think it was you that I heard say this, like you talk about winning hearts and minds in that order, right? So you need the people to come in.
Yes, well,
and connect.
95% of decisions, the heart makes the decision first, then the brain follows it up with logic.
Process will get you the opportunity, and people skills or disc profiling, the people that come in there and can connect with someone will close the opportunity. So you need both.
Interesting. Let's carry this conversation in another video. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.